The NAIA would like to thank Storm and Blue Apparel for their sponsorship of the event. We'd also like to thank USBC for providing the live streaming of the tournament. Make sure you tell your friends to log on. Don't want to miss the championship match. Coaches, remember to give me your score sheet at the completion of the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is the championship match. This is what they've been working for all weekend. How about a big round of applause for the presentation teams in the country? And again, this is the championship match of the 2014 NAIA Invitational Team Championship. Good luck.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Our continuing live coverage of the NAIA Invitational here on Bowl TV. Championship matches about to get started. Midland versus Robert Morris on the men's side, and Weber versus Robert Morris on the women's side. I'm Lucas Wiseman, and special guest with us for the championship is PBA champion and Storm staffer Jeff Carter. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Lucas. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Welcome to the broadcast. And should be a pretty good championship match, I think. I think we've got four of the top teams in the field who've made it to this point, and it's been a long road, but we're finally here in best of five. And both Robert Morris teams have to be beat twice as they are undefeated. And you've watched a lot this week. What are your thoughts on the pattern that's being used this week?
Well, first, I think the four teams that have earned the right and deserve to be here the most definitely have made it this far. It's no surprise to see both Robert Morris teams in the championship matches, as well as the Weber ladies. I know that they've outperformed everybody else getting to this point. But a pretty gutsy performance by the Midland guys in that last match. Their anchor bowler throwing all three in the tent to make it to the championship match. So they definitely earned their way. Pretty challenging 39-foot pattern this weekend. Multiple scoring angles. Seemed like the middles broke open a little bit as the day went on, but a lot of that has to do with this center. You know, Brunswick Hawthorne Lanes is always known to hook quite a bit, so no surprise that this pattern has quite a bit of friction on it.
And again, Robert Morris needs to be defeated twice in consecutive best-of-5 matches in both the men's and the women's division as we get started with a super washout by Robert Morris. And would appreciate if you would take a moment to get on your Facebook and Twitter and post the link to the live stream for the championship matches here at the NAIA Invitational. I see Jeff getting his phone out right now. Maybe
I think
he's
I'm
going to
do the same.
I just did it on my Facebook and my Twitter, so please take a moment to spread the word so that we can get as many people watching as possible as we watch what I expect to be some pretty good matches here.
I agree. Like I mentioned, these two teams are, especially on the ladies' side, they're pretty well evenly matched. Two of the better teams all season. I actually coached the Robert Morris Springfield ladies team, so I've seen these teams in action all year long, and no surprise that they've both made it this far.
And Robert Morris with a stacked team on the men's side. Midland also with a very talented team. Midland off to a quick start with a double. So we are here in game one. First team to win 3 points wins the match. And you win a point by winning a game. You can also get a half a point for a tie. And just got to get to 3 points to win the match. And again, if Robert Morris wins this opening match in the men's and women's divisions, then they would take the titles, as they are undefeated and must be beaten twice. Got a lot of new folks tuning in, so recap for you what's going on here. We're at Brunswick Zone Hawthorne in Vernon Hills, Illinois, the championship matches of the NAIA Invitational. Midland versus Robert Morris on the men's side, and Weber versus Robert Morris on the women's side. Early 10-pin lead for Midland, all tied up in the women's match. Please take a moment, as we said, to update your Facebook and your Twitter, as Jeff is feverishly doing right now. Looks like
taken care of.
All updated, and get some more folks tuning in to watch the live coverage here. It's our final event of this college bowling season before nationals. Going to be live streaming the intercollegiate team and singles championships next month from Reno, Nevada. You can go to bowl.com/livestream for our live stream schedule.
Great shot by Ryan right there. I've watched the Robert Morris guys quite a bit this weekend, and I'm not sure I've seen Ryan miss all weekend. He's been throwing it great all weekend. So is Matt Gaston, and so is, of course, Marshall Kent. But the Midland guys certainly aren't going to go away, so they're going to probably give the Robert Morris guys all they can handle.
And Midland's off to a quick start. A couple of doubles early on.
They definitely have momentum on their side. They just came off of a very tightly contested match with the Weber guys, while the Robert Morris teams have been out of the building, relaxing, whether they went and grabbed something to eat, whatever they did. But I'm not so sure that the Weber ladies and the Midland guys don't necessarily have a little bit of an advantage, because they've been bowling, they've been competing, they haven't been sitting around waiting for this moment to happen. So,
yeah, Robert Morris on both sides has not really had a chance to get into a rhythm. They've just kind of, you bowl every other match pretty much when you're winning, and so they bowled one match this morning, and now they've been sitting around for a while.
But there's nothing that you can take away from the fact that being the number one seed, you have to beat twice. So they have a little bit of an advantage to where they can use this match to get themselves loosened up if they need to, and then bring it on in the second championship match if needed. So,
yeah, nothing to lose for Robert Morris in these matches. They kind of playing with house money at this point.
But I'm pretty sure if you were to ask them, they would all say, "Let's win it now and get out of here."
That's right. Much rather get it done with.
Absolutely. And especially hometown. A lot of the family friends are here rooting them on. So. It's good to see. Yeah,
because we're just outside Chicago, and that is where Robert Morris, Illinois is based. So sleeping in their own beds this week, I would assume. Looks like the men's match might be shaping up to be pretty high scoring at this point.
Very well could be. I know that both these teams, all 10 of the guys that are in the lineup right now have some fairly high rev rates. They're going to strike a lot, but the danger side to that also is how quickly that pair could get chewed up. So it could either remain high scoring, or if they make it ugly, scores can go any which way.
Oh, look at the little light hit there. Gets the 2, breaks up the split, and that is 5 in a row for Midland as they continue to put the pressure on Robert Morris to keep striking.
Robert Morris really needs Cameron to get going, their leadoff bowler. He's struggled a little bit this weekend. He's still one of the best players in the country, and if he can start striking, right here, that could set the tone on how this whole match is going to go from them. So
that's a big shot
right there.
After he got 5 in the first frame, he comes back with a strike.
In my opinion, the leadoff bowler is by far the key. You want them to kind of set the tone for the match, but also when you have an anchor bowler like a Marshall Kent, you want your leadoff bowler to come right in behind him and continue on what the bottom half of your lineup's already done in the Baker format. So,
and your leadoff bowler is going to give you your first look when you change lanes as well, which is critical.
Very, very key.
Midland continues to strike. They can max at 279. Robert Morris is about 3 frames behind them. They can still max at 279 as well.
Tyler with a big shot right there.
The Weber women are up as they are in the 6th frame here on Robert Morris by 24 pins. So Weber had a quick start, and Robert Morris had an early open in the women's match.
One thing I've seen a lot today is literally anything can happen, and it can happen in a hurry. All of a sudden, a split here, a misspare there, and a team can get right back into a game quickly. We saw a lot of matches earlier this morning where a team would jump out with an early triple, have the advantage. Next thing you know, a couple bad shots, and the other team gets right back into the game and consequently back into the match.
Single pin lead for Midland in the 10th, so they're going to be in the 250s, which means that Robert Morris needs to keep striking here. And they do.
Big shot for Ryan right there. That's going to set it up for Matt and Marshall at the bottom of the lineup to see if they can't pull this game out.
And that's about as good a twosome at the end of a lineup as you have in the entire country.
Yeah, I would take it. But again, the Midland guys have shown all day long that they can perform just as well in the clutch. I mean, they threw some incredible shots that last match just to get here. So, and you can see right on cue, one of the Weber ladies missed a single pin.
Big shot here
to give the Robert Morris girls a little bit of life. So, kind of turn that match around a little bit.
Well, Robert Morris, if they can throw one more strike here, they'll take the win, along with some good count, I suppose. But another strike would put Robert Morris in the 260s, and Midland's going to be in the 250s. So a very high-scoring opening game. One of the higher-scoring games that we've had in the tournament thus far. I know that the Weber women were involved in a 279 to 278 loss earlier this tournament in match play.
The only problem I see, especially at this stage of the event, is if you shoot 258 and lose, how discouraging is that, and could that affect you mentally going into the next game or two? So that's tough to lose a Baker game with a 258 if it is the case.
Well, Marshall needs to strike here, and he pulls it left, crosses it over, and gets the strike, and not the way that he would want to win, but it is enough.
Well, by USBC rules, you have to take it. But I'm sure Marshall is going to use that and make whatever adjustments he needs to physically, mentally, and on the lane or the approach itself to be able to make sure that he executes better for the rest of this match. So
Weber a chance to extend their lead. It's at 14 right now, and instead it's going to go the other direction, and it's a Greek church. So that's going to tighten things up considerably here.
They did roil the lanes before the start of the championship match, so they're back to bowling on fresh, which is a variable that you can never count out, because especially with the rev rates of the Weber ladies, they're using a little bit more surface to try and blend the lane out, but that also could hurt you, that if you don't execute just right physically, your ball reaction could leave you in a hurry. So you're starting to see that a little bit with them.
I hear the foul light going off. I think that Robert Morris fouled on the spare on the women's side. pretty easy to hear the foul light in this place. It's kind of quiet.
That's the second time I've seen that this weekend.
Marshall with another strike to put Robert Morris in the 270s.
And that was a bad break for Tawney, making that spare and then losing it on the foul. So
yeah, and that kind of wipes out the Greek Church by Weber.
exactly. Weber gave him an opening, and then Robert Morris gave it right back to him.
But when you look at max scores, well, actually, they're going to need to fix the score. I was going to say that Robert Morris could strike out to win, but it only gave her 2 on the second shot on the split. She got 3, so that's going to be a couple of more pins and count for Weber. And the scoring system just shut off.
Big shot from Lori. We'll try and get your scores updated to you as soon as they get them put back in there, but
they're going to have to get that fixed. The men's match was pretty much done with the first game.
yeah, I believe that Marshall left a 10-pin on the fill ball for 278, so that game was 278 to 258.
The good news is we're live streaming, so if we need to, we can see the scores if they aren't able to pull them back up.
Well, yeah, I think all the teams, at least I know ours, and Coach Lehman for Robert Morris has
Keep the frame by
scorebook,
frame.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I know at least theirs will be done. I'm not sure if the Weber ladies are doing the same thing or not.
And yeah, Marshall did get 9, so they shot 278 before it went dark. And I believe that Robert Morris threw a strike in the 9th.
They did. Lori stepped up, made a big shot right after the foul on the single pin from Tawney. So it's going to come down to Sam Kelly in the 10th to see if she can't close some ground up. They're going to go ahead and get game 2 of the men's side started while they're resetting the scores for the ladies. Like I mentioned earlier, I think Cameron's going to be the key to the Robert Morris men's team, and he starts off game 2 with a strike. But I'm certainly not going to count out the Midland guys. Like I said, they've bowled well to get to this point, and they start off with a strike as well. So the high scores could continue once they've flipped lanes. So we'll see what happens.
Of course, it's going to take them a minute to get that sorted out. They're working on it right now. Our championship matches in progress here. Robert Morris leading 1-0 on the men's side after a 278-258 win. And it looks like they're putting the scores in back there. We could pretty much hand score it at this point.
Yeah.
for the last
Just
2
the
frames.
10th.
Yeah, it's just the 10th frame. Yeah, Weber had 163 in the 9th. And could strike out for 193. And Robert Morris could strike out for 192.
I'll talk.
They're putting the score in right now, it looks like. Or at least some variation of the score.
So Robert Morris men jumped out to a quick lead with a double through the first 2 frames. And then Ryan with a spare in the 3rd. So we'll see how Midland reacts to that. Like we said, losing with 2:58, we'll see how that affects them mentally.
Yeah,
ball reaction-wise, they look like they're okay. A lot of times that kind of helps free the swing up a little bit. Whenever your ball's reading the lane the right way, you can get yourself back going in a hurry. So.
Well, Jeff, I know you have watched a lot of college bowling this season. Do you think that Robert Morris is the best team in the country? I think that they've had a very successful season again.
They have, and I really haven't seen too much of the men's side. Usually when we're bowling, we're either on opposite ends of the center or different squads or in some cases different bowling centers.
Yeah, that is true.
So I really, other than kind of going down to check on them or talk to them or between games or so on and so forth, I really haven't seen a lot. But I will say that there's a tremendous amount of talent in the collegiate ranks right now on every team, whether it be the McKendree guys or the Davenport guys or, all over. It's amazing to walk through and see the amount of talent on the men's and women's side in collegiate bowling right now. And it's not a surprise to me that high school and collegiate bowling is growing by the leaps and bounds that it is. It's the future of our sport, and this is hopefully the generation that's going to help what I like to say rebuild the sport, repackage it, and we get to start all over. So.
And it looks like they are just about finished with putting the scores back in. Looks like a bunch of gobbledygook on the screen with all those A's and got an F on there. But
looks like my high school report card.
And it looks like they didn't put the spare in the 7th frame, so that kind of messed up the rest of the game on the Weber side. But they're working on it, so should get that sorted out soon here.
Yeah, that was a 9 miss in the 7th. Going back over the men's side, the RMU guys have a couple of doubles, and Midland's a few frames behind. Sometimes that's strategy. Sometimes it's trying to get trying to regain your composure or have a little team meeting, but
either score is right. Either strike in the 9th, they had a spare in the 7th. They fixed it. We got 9-0 in the 7th. Right, that's what it says. We only bowled the 9th. Look at the scoreboard.
They're arguing over the score, but it's right, so.
Still wrong, Lucas.
No, it's right. Just did a strike in the 9th. That's it. Your score is right. They need a strike in the 9th. That's the only one that's right. All right, so they're sorting it out.
and the Queen with a big strike in the 10th. So we'll see after this long break on how the ladies respond.
Yeah, and that's a big one because Weber can shut out Robert Morris if she strikes out in the 10th because they can shoot 193, and Robert Morris can only get to 192. It's a big shot from Midland here as Perry gets the double. And they are down by just a handful of pins right now.
Tyler with a great game. His two shots, he struck on both of them, so he's done and gets to sit and wait and see how the rest of his teammates do.
Diana up for Weber now, needs a couple of more strikes here in the 10th for the shutout, and then it won't matter what Robert Morris does in the 10th. And that's way right and gets 7, so that means that Robert Morris is going to have a chance to...
We'll see if Sam can step up and throw a couple in the 10th and win this match.
Yeah, have a chance to steal it here at the end.
Tell you what, though, Diana's bowled unbelievably well this weekend, as she has all year. You don't see her miss too often. And, being a coach on the ladies' side, whether crossing with them or crossing near them, she sure strikes an awful lot, so... I was actually sitting behind them yesterday when they had their 299 game. She threw an absolutely incredible shot for a Baker 300 and rang a 10 pin. So
saw that on Facebook. They had the final shot posted. Well, Sam got the first one in the 10th, so Robert Morris still has a chance. They're going to need one more.
Seen an awful lot of Sam this year as well, not only collegiately but in a few other tournaments. And she's a competitor. She can definitely throw it when she needs it, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see her strike right here.
Well, the Midland guys with the spare, and they trail by 8. With they have 4 frames to go. Robert Morris is in the 8th. The spare. So here we go, far right side of your screen. Strike to win the game, and gets the 4 to fall a little bit late.
Big shot, big shot.
And she'll just need 2 pins on her fill ball.
I know Coach Lehman's been kind of rotating his 4th and 5th bowlers all day between Sam and Lori. Whoever kind of has the hot hand, he's put it at the bottom. And obviously a pretty good choice for this game.
Midland trying to play catch-up again here.
They're still hanging around. They're not going anywhere. So if they can put a couple strikes together, then they're right back in this game. Marshall could, if Matt makes a spare in the 9th, that gives Marshall a chance to strike out for 224. And the Midland guys have 247 on out. So this game is far from over.
192 to 183. Robert Morris wins game 1.
If I'm the anchor bowler for Midland, I'm just thinking, just give me a chance at it, guys. Give me a chance.
1, 2, 3.
Big shot. 1 more to set it up for the 10th. Now, interesting choice by Marshall here. He's going to go ahead and bowl the 10th and make them think about it a little bit. He gets this one, then the bowler in the 9th frame for Midland knows that he has to strike.
10th frame for Robert Morris, and Marshall Kent
There you
delivers
have
the
it.
strike. A lot of times college teams will wait, but I think that sometimes it's a good idea to get up and put the strikes on the board.
I do too. Put the pressure on your opponent. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a big shot here.
It's a totally different mindset. Everybody could look at that differently. Some people may want to sit back and see what you need to do, more so than trying to put pressure on the opponent. But
going left.
yeah, that definitely is going to hurt them. They still have a chance at
They can still shoot
226.
226, which would be enough. So Marshall needs the second one in the 10th to force Midland to pick up the spare and double in the 10th.
correct.
As the women get started with game 2. You're watching live coverage of the NAIA Invitational here on Bold TV. I'm Lucas Wiseman along with PBA champion Jeff Carter. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? PBA champion Jeff Carter.
Yeah, it was definitely a moment that I'll never forget, so very, very proud of that honor.
Marshall strikes again, shreds the rack for the double. And
speaking of PBA champion, Marshall had just won basically his first unofficial PBA title overseas last week?
Last week at the Brunswick Euro Challenge in Munich.
So even though he's not credited with the PBA title, since he is not a PBA member, I'm not alone in the thinking that he is a PBA champion. It did happen. I saw it. So you can't take that away from him. So
he asked me a few weeks ago, or a few months ago, should I go to Munich? You know, I was like, you should go to Munich. Munich's a pretty cool place, too.
Yep. And it's pretty nice that some of the collegiate players are starting to travel overseas and bowl a little bit more often, and they're having success over there as well. So it's great to see.
Fill ball from Marshall. He gets 8. So 222. Midland needs a double and 7 to win the game. So Perry once again stepping up in the 10th frame here, and a close match.
Wonder how the long layoff when we were getting the scores corrected have affected some of the girls, because we've got a couple of errant shots to start the game for the Robert Morris ladies, so see how they recover from that.
Must strike. Gets the first one.
That kid's thrown some pretty important shots in the last hour or so performed at a very high level.
Yeah, Perry is a great bowler.
He is.
And probably one of the top in the country. Washout open frame for Robert Morris.
As an anchor bowler, all you can do is just ask for the chance. And then at that point, it's totally up to you to how you perform. But I guess I always looked at it where I would rather take that opportunity and fail than not ever get that opportunity. So,
well, Perry Crowell has the chance. Midland with an opportunity to even the match.
Unfortunately, I think I failed more than I succeeded in those situations.
Well, let's see what happens here. Strike and 7 to win. Gets it.
I don't think he's missed in about the last hour or so.
He's been throwing a lot of strikes today, that's for sure. And now Midland just 7 pins away from winning game 2.
And when he struck out to win that last match, I think everybody in Northern Illinois heard it too. They unloaded.
Weber women up 15 after 3 frames of game 2. That one going at a little bit slower pace, had that delay due to the scoring issue. Still need to get 7 here. 6 would be a tie. We came up light.
Yeah.
We got enough. That easily could have been 6.
Or worse.
Or worse, not gone the right way. But 226-222 is the high-scoring men's championship continues.
So that evens that matchup at 1 win apiece. They move on to game 3. Got Lori stepping up in the 4th frame for the Robert Morris girls to try and double to close that gap up against the Weber ladies. Another great shot from Lori. She's been bowling well all day, so that's not too much of a surprise. They're definitely going to need to keep striking if they're going to keep up with the Weber girls, because when they get lined up, they sure do throw an awful lot of strikes. They're tough to beat.
Yeah, right now Robert Morris has narrowed it down to 4 pins in the women's match, and that's game 2.
In some cases, it really boils down to the team that makes the least amount of mistakes. In a Baker format where you only get to throw a couple of shots, your momentum ebbs and flows are up and down all the time, and a missed spare could really hurt your chances. So if you really focus on making spares, staying out of trouble, filling the frames, you pick up a double or two, you're tough to beat every single game that you're in it. So.
Well, we got our biggest audience of the week. I'll attribute that to the appearance of Jeff Carter. 567 people watching, so thanks everybody for tuning in. And if you just take a minute to post on your Facebook and Twitter, and you just get us one extra person, we'd be over 1,000 people pretty quick. So
absolutely,
spread the word and let everybody know that we've got some great matches going on here. I think that we are going to be in for a real treat down the stretch here.
That's the beauty of social media. With a click of a button, we can reach tens of thousands of people instantly and promote this event, and that's what it's going to take to help not only collegiate bowling and high school bowling, but bowling in general continue to grow. Is bowlers working for bowlers.
Robert Morris out to a quick 10-pin lead in the men's match in game number 3. Chance for Weber to put a double on the board here, and they do.
The Weber leadoff bowler is another one. If she gets going, she strikes a ton.
Weber now up 17.
Allie's been struggling a little bit today as well. I know that Dale's been rotating 3 or 4 different bowlers into the top part of the lineup, just trying to go with the hot hand here and there. And watching the Weber girls all day, I know that Randy's kept their lineup fairly stable all day. He's got a couple girls that really haven't bowled much at all this weekend, so every coach kind of has their own theory on how they want to do it. Some go with experience or stability, and some strictly go with the hot hand. So.
And you're going to have players that match up better to the pattern than others, and
or at different times,
or
or
different
on the
times,
pressure,
on the pressure, the burn, and
Yep.
There's a lot more that goes into the coaching than people probably realize, especially in the Baker portion of the event. It's a very fluid situation, and things are constantly changing. And
it is.
You bowl one game on one lane, and then you switch to the other lane for the next game. And in that amount of time, so much can change on the lane in terms of transition. So it's really important for coaches to keep an eye on things. And Marshall had a chance to strike through the lineup for Robert Morris and left a big split. And they desperately search for his spare ball, I think. They find it.
Marshall doesn't need a spare ball very often, so.
That's true. Usually you can just keep it in the bag. Strike for Robert Morris women. They're down by 28. So they're going to need to put some more strikes on the board. Neil Cooley running it out for Midland.
The big thing in a format like this is even if you're in a game where you know that you're down by 20 or 30, you still want to try and continually make good shots, try and keep the momentum as much as you can, and you're going to be back on this lane, at worst in a couple of games. So you want to make sure you're always constantly looking for something that you can use in the future. So even if Robert Morris were to happen to lose the match, they're going to be right back on the same pair for the next match. And you're constantly learning and trying to figure out what you want to do for the next time you get in that same situation. So.
And there is no re-oil if there's a second match. That will go just right into practice. Now wait till the other match is done, of course, because you don't want people practicing for a match at the same time as another match is going on.
Right.
But no re-oil if there's a second championship match. Starting to look like both our matches are going to be 1-1 because Weber is pulled pretty well here this game.
Big messenger for Cameron to get the RMU guys back going in the right direction after the split in the 5th by Marshall.
Connie excited she didn't foul on that one. 3-6-9-10 for Midland in the 6th. And
Definitely
they trail
not
by 9.
Definitely not an easy spare on any condition, let alone this one. So big shot from Tyler again.
Well, the Robert Morris men are looking awfully tough, especially on that right lane. They shot 278 on that lane the first game, and they're bowling another big game this time around. And that could be important because if it does go 5 games, they would finish on that right lane. That's a long ways away from now.
It is.
Wow, Diana with a 2-8-10 in the 10th.
I've actually noticed that a lot with Diana today. I'm not so sure that she's not seeing early friction on the lane, and her ball's losing momentum as it gets down the lane. Because normally her ball changes direction a little bit more sharply at the back of the pattern. So I'm sure Randy's over there debating what to do as far as if she needs to go to a little bit less aggressive ball or make some sort of an adjustment to compensate for that.
Oh, a big strike for Robert Morris. They can still shoot 210. And if Diana gets 2 of these, they can be beaten.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's absolutely a chance. Midland, meanwhile, had an opportunity as well, and they left a split. Robert Morris with a split at the same time, so no opportunity for Midland to really gain much ground unless they can somehow pop a spare here.
So Diana gets her 2. So basically, Sam needs to step up and double on good count the 10th.
Yeah, 206 for Weber.
So double and 7 for Samantha on lane 21 gives RMU the win in game 3. Oh, I'm sorry, game 2. We are behind.
Yes. Yeah, they're one game behind on the women's side. And Samantha Kelly stepped up last game and got the job done. And let's see if she can do it again here. Needs a double 7 here in the 10th frame. Hooks left. And so Weber is going to take game 2 and even the match.
Got awful quiet in here when Sam got up on the approach.
Sure did.
In a college event, you're definitely not used to that. It's a lot of cheering and chanting and everything else going on. It's rare that you actually have a quiet moment when you're up there.
Robert Morris on the men's side leading by 20 with 2 frames left here.
Kind of like what you were talking about earlier, by just simply filling frames. If you can stay out of trouble, make spares, and almost wait for your opponent to make that mistake. In some cases, that's your best strategy.
Well, Midland can max out at 211. And Robert Morris can get to 221.
Big shot for Marshall right here. If he gets this one, it puts all the pressure on Midland.
Great shot.
Probably his best shot of the match so far right there. So.
Marshall Kemp, I think he's the 2-time MVP of college bowling. I don't know if he's going to get it this year. I think A.J. Johnson's got a great chance to get that MVP.
Yeah, AJ's had a great year. Good kid, throws it good. I've known AJ since for a lot of years now.
Got to have this one have a chance, and they get it.
Tell you what, though, Lucas, the Midland guys are really impressing me. This whole weekend they've bowled well to get to this point, and their performance in clutch situations has been pretty outstanding.
It seems like they're always hanging around every game and have some sort of chance at the end. But Marshall can put the kibosh on that if he strikes here. Strike here, and Robert Morris will go up 2-1. That'd be 1 win away from the title. Oh, what was that? The 7-9? 7 kind of bounced into the 9 a little bit there.
Another great shot for Marshall Kent.
Doesn't matter how they go down, just that they go down. And Marshall Kent gets it done in the 10th for Robert Morris.
There's no replacement for experience. I mean, these kids have all been here before. They understand the situation. They've performed in these types of situations numerous times. And definitely not afraid of them.
As we start game 3 on the women's side, tied at 1 game apiece.
It looks to me like this left lane in the women's match could be the key. We haven't seen a lot of high scores off of the left lane, so that kind of gives a little bit of an advantage to the Robert Morris girls, because they will bowl 3 times on the right lane. So we'll see if that trend continues.
Robert Morris men finish at 221.
And if Perry makes a spare, the Midland guys will finish at an even 200.
Robert Morris guys only shot 721 for the first 3. That's not so bad.
That'll get it done.
It's a pretty good 3-game tally for this weekend.
But no matter what, it's still only 2-1.
That's right. But I don't think the scores have been too high this weekend. There have been some good scores, but
they've been a little bit up and down. When they were bowling in the qualifying rounds, certain pairs scored really, really well. Then you move the next pair, and scores would drop dramatically. So that's like that in every bowling center. You're going to find some pairs that are higher scoring than others, just in general. but with the talent pool that we've got out here, these guys made, and ladies, a lot of quick adjustments to where the top teams definitely proved their right to be here.
And it seems like bowlers always have a tendency to step up when you get to this point, championship matches. And scores tend to go up even a little bit more. Well, Robert Morris men are 1 win away from the title. It's a must-win game for Midland. Puts a lot more pressure on. It's a 5-count washout for Midland to start.
You know, and not only for these 4 teams, but also for, you know, the Weber guys. You know, they bowled great all weekend just to lose in this what would be the semifinal match, and then also the St. Ambrose ladies. Both those teams performed very, very well this weekend. They should walk out of here very proud of themselves on how their teams competed all weekend long, as well as the other teams that made it into today. I know that there were some tough matches, some close matches that could have gone either way. So very good showing for collegiate bowling this weekend.
I agree. NAIA is has a great college bowling organization. A lot of great teams, a lot of great talent in NAIA, and I would say that the field here this weekend rivals that of any of the other conferences, or you know, it's a very talented group, these NAIA teams. And if you're just tuning in, we're live at Brunswick Zone Hawthorne in Vernon Hills, Illinois. This is the championship matches of the NAIA Invitational. I'm Lucas Wiseman from Bowl TV, and joined by PBA champion and Storm staffer Jeff Carter for our championship round here this afternoon. Again, both Robert Morris teams need to be defeated twice, as they are both undefeated.
Looks like the pair for the men's match is starting to break loose a little bit. You're starting to see some early friction, which is starting to force the guys a little bit farther left. It probably won't be too long till you see some guys either in front of the ball return or lofting it a little bit. I know it hasn't taken long all day, even though you look and you see, well, they're only bowling basically one game at a time. How could the lanes break down that fast? But with the rev rates that these guys are using, strong equipment, that's the other fear of using surface on bowling balls. On one hand, it kind of helps blend your reaction out a little bit, makes the balls a little bit more controllable, but it also is taking so much oil off the front and the middle part of the lane that it forces you an entire zone left with your first move, and next thing you know, you're 4th, 5th arrow, you know, in a very short period of time.
And it sure seems like these days in college bowling, standing in front of the ball return is the cool thing to do.
Well, they're not afraid to do it. I know that they practice it a lot.
And some of them are quite good at it, too.
They are. And, you know, some of these guys that do bowl some of the PBA Tour events, and, you know, such as the World Series of Bowling, the U.S. Open, the Masters, things like that, that's what you're exposed to a lot nowadays, where it seems like most patterns develop to that part of the lane. So the guys and even the ladies that can get to that part of the lane and be successful, you know, those are. Looks like the Weber ladies are starting to get lane 21 figured out. They're on a double. But both teams staying clean, staying out of trouble. It's going to really come down to the last 3 frames to see who can perform the best to pick up this crucial second win in the ladies' match. Things just tightened up a little bit in the men's match. Marshall with a Greek Church in the 5th. So now if Perry can step up in the 5th and strike, that could turn that momentum around in that match in a hurry. As the Robert Morris girls are huddling up and discussing strategy and trying to get fired up for the second half of their game. So
yeah, they're down 21 pins. But
quick double could make up some of that.
That's
So
exactly right.
we'll see how they come out of this this huddle with Allie coming up in the 6th. See how she responds. I think that was a.
You're watching our live coverage of the NAIA Invitational Championship matches here on Bowl TV. Robert Morris on the men's side leading by 4.
Big double. Puts the pressure right back on the Midland guys. They're going to need to start throwing some strikes if they want to continue this match. And there's one. That's going to make it very difficult. The Midland guys are definitely going to need some help. So now you have one of the best players in collegiate bowling is going to get an opportunity to step up in the 10th and mark for the NAIA Championship.
Yeah, just needs a mark at this point.
222.
So very close.
Robert Morris hasn't doubled yet, so they're going to have to get it going now. Championship.
And I would 220 for Weber.
And also huge congratulations to Midland, where they
All right, so game 4 underway here with Weber leading 2-1 in our women's match. Robert Morris winning the men's title 3-1 over Midland.
see if Robert Morris can't get a little bit of momentum going. They need to get something started and get out of the gates quick if they want to get back into this match and not have this one get away from them. The only thing I can see that's going to definitely hurt them the longer this goes on is the Weber girls have much higher rev rates, and they're able to move a little bit farther left on the lane, open their angles up a little bit more, and that's going to help them the later this match goes on. So, not that the Robert Morris girls want this match to continue any farther than it needs to, but it would definitely be in their best interest to try and close this out as quickly as possible.
And I do want to apologize to those of you who are having a problem with the stream. Playing with house money this week here using our hotspot, and it's not always 100% reliable, but hopefully we got it back up and running here. But if you missed any portion of the end of that men's match, to be honest with you, it wasn't that exciting. You didn't miss too much.
It was pretty much done early on in that last game. Great performance for the Robert Morris men all weekend, all day today, and pretty much all season. So
yeah, they won 218-160 the last game as Robert Morris defeats Midland 3-1 to take the men's title. And now the women's title is still to be determined. And if Weber wins this game, we'll have a second 5-game match.
first sighting from Katie Sexton in this match. She just moved into the number 2 spot for Robert Morris, so Dale is changing his lineup around a little bit, trying to find some lightning in the bottle to get him going. That's the advantage of having 8 great players on your team, that somebody's struggling, you can shuffle your lineup a little bit and hopefully replace them with somebody that can get you going a little bit. And as both these teams have shown, all season, it's tough to crack their lineups.
Well, it's an early 10 or 11-pin lead for Weber, but Weber's got a 5-count washout to shoot here, so we'll see how that affects things.
So that gives Robert Morris an opportunity right now to, starting with Samantha, to strike here and put a few things together and get themselves going right back in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a must-win game here for Robert Morris to have a chance to win the title in the first championship match, and Greek Church on a spare.
I think both teams are definitely starting to see some early hook to where if the ball actually picks up a little bit too soon, loses energy down lane, miss the head pin for a washout, or in that case a super wash, and you make a mistake, you help it a little bit, and all of a sudden it just continues on too much and right through the nose. So this pattern is definitely not easy by any means, and it could do nothing but get worse on this pair as we go on. So,
and at this point, nerves could be a factor as well, because it just went from having the men bowling at the same time, and now the spotlight is on this match. And when they bowl, there's not a whole lot going on in the center aside from a little bit of open play.
Right.
So there's a lot more of a spotlight on you when it's the only match going on. But it's a 16-pin advantage for Weber right now. It's going to cross over.
Yeah, it looks like they definitely need to start to bump left a little bit, make some angle changes, maybe even go to some shinier bowling balls possibly to be able to get the ball through the front part of the lane a little bit cleaner, and maybe not trying to go as left to right. So that would be one option I would look at right at this point in time.
Well, if Robert Morris can strike here in the 5th, they can narrow the gap to 6. And I'm sure that they would like to push this thing to a game 5.
Come on, baby. Come on.
The pin's dancing a bit, but they didn't fall the right way.
Spare it up.
This is all the makings of a kind of a grind-out game here for both teams.
Kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier with just fill frames, make your spares, be patient, let it come to you. Don't try and force the issue quite so much. But again, these are two very experienced teams, and they already know this. So it's not like they're trying to make bad shots. It's just sometimes the moment overcomes you and affects your swing just a little bit. So big spare from Lori in the 5th to at least keep the Robert Morris girls in it, but they're definitely going to need to start striking to be able to close that gap up. Right now they are down 16, but the Weber girls do have a strike up in the 5th after Diana struck on her shot. So the Weber girls can definitely put the pressure on with a strike here in the 6th.
Robert Morris needs to get something going in the back half of this game. He just can't seem to get the ball in the pocket.
Yeah, every shot's been high this game, so.
Get the grind out wins, or sometimes the way you got to go. And right now, it's what it looks like. And if this pair has gotten ugly, we could be in for a long few games here, because they will bowl the second championship match on this same pair if it's necessary.
The only thing that will help that is the fact that they will get their 10 minutes of practice.
That is true.
They'll try some other things that they may not be willing to try right now. You get 10 minutes of practice, you can actually gamble on a few things and see if you can't find something that will work quickly. So, I know Weber is hoping to just sneak out of here, win this match so that they can have a chance to go ahead and bowl for the true title. And Robert Morris right now can almost see the writing on the wall that it is going to another match. And if I were them, I would already be starting to think about looking at a couple other options as to what you're going to do when we do come back and bowl that next best of 5 match.
Another light hit for Weber.
So right now they actually have them the opposite.
Yeah,
the Weber
that's what I was
girls are
gonna
actually
say.
a little bit too far left maybe, and balls are dying, not getting around the corner quite as much. And the Robert Morris girls are almost too on top of the spot, trying to force it through there, and they're just seeing too much reaction.
Well, Weber up 17 with a spare here in the 7th. This game could still go either way.
It could.
It's only 17 with 3 frames to go, and we've seen a lot of big changes in matches at the end in the last few frames.
Sam finally makes a really good shot, breaks up the 4-9, leaves just the 9, but that might be a sign of her starting to get herself lined up a little bit, and she can strike with anybody when she gets going. So all it does is takes a little bit of momentum to loosen your swing up a little bit and get you going. So
Looked like she put a little air on that under that ball too. Got a little bit further out on the lane.
can't hook when it's in the air.
That's right. Almost struck. It's closer to the pocket than they had been. And well,
But then you can't miss the spare.
Yeah.
I know that's been an issue all year. It's something that I preach to my team. You just simply can't give frames away, especially with single pins. So you can eliminate those mistakes.
It's like missing free throws in basketball.
Or a 2-foot putt.
No excuse.
Yep, exactly. I agree 100%.
So it looks like Weber is probably, and I say probably because you never know in Baker bowling, going to win this game. And if that's the case, I would guess they're going to give the teams a couple of minutes to decompress before they'll go into practice. But it should be pretty quickly as have a gutter duster there. And
right now the Robert Morris girls are going to need it. They're going to need just to get away, regroup, huddle up, talk strategy, recompose themselves mentally to get ready for this match, because win or lose right now, they're not out of it. You know, that was the benefit of being the winners of the winners bracket, is they have to be beat twice. So they're far from done, but they're going to have to use the break and their 10 minutes of practice to be able to get themselves heading in the right direction.
So we are going to have a second championship match between Robert Morris and Weber, and that will be a winner-takes-all match, because both teams will have a loss going into that match and can take the title. This is going to be Robert Morris's first loss of the tournament.
And this is the first match that I've seen that they've just really struggled, all the way through. They had a couple of close matches that came down to the 9th and 10th frame, but it wasn't necessarily because they were struggling. It was more to where the teams were evenly matched and the scoring was close. This is just a case of one team making it through and the other team struggling mightily. But I will give them credit. They do seem like they're loose, and I think they understand the situation. They know that they're not done, and they have another chance at this. So we'll see how they recover from this match going into the next one.
Well, no doubt Weber will have the momentum going into the next match. They moved pretty well in these 4 games overall. This game a little bit rougher than the last, but
now I would believe that the Robert Morris girls would still have lane choice, and that may play a part into what how they attack as far as if they liked one lane better than the other one. But right now, they're certainly not liking this left lane at all.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to get lane choice, actually, because it's usually based on the higher seed. Weber was number 1. Robert Morris was number 2. But I don't know how that's going to work, given that Robert Morris was the undefeated team coming in.
Yeah, good point.
I guess we'll find out soon enough, won't we?
I'm sure tournament director Gary Schmidt will tell us.
That's right. He's got all his bases covered, I'm sure. And Weber actually lost their first match.
I saw that one. Yeah, I was watching that match.
To Ashford. And so they've battled back since then. Never easy to come out of a loser's bracket to win a tournament. As you know from bowling the Masters, etc., it's very difficult.
Yes, I'm very familiar with the loser's bracket at the Masters.
I think there are many people who are. It's not a fun place to be.
No, it isn't. That makes for some very, very long days.
Oh, just waiting on the 10th frame here. Guess they're talking some strategy. Maybe also using this time to just kind of slow down things before we go into the next match.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on, whether it be lineup possibilities, lane play strategies, equipment options. There's a lot of things that Coach Lehman's talking to Lori Hankin right now about, so we'll see what they do to prepare themselves to start this next match. We have tournament director Gary Schmidt down there talking to them and letting everybody know what the scenario is going to be as far as how much practice they're going to get. I'm sure he's telling them who's going to have lane choice, things like that. So,
yeah, I'm guessing if he's asking them if they're okay with starting pretty much right away.
Yeah, since the men are already done, I would assume that there's no reason why they wouldn't. So Dale has some decisions to make as far as what they're going to do, who's going to be in the lineup, what part of the lane they're going to start to go to. So we could see them gamble a little bit or play it maybe even a little bit more conservatively and see if they can't grind out a win. So we'll see which direction he decides to take.
Okay, so Gary was just telling me they're going to take a 10-minute break and then start their 10 minutes of practice. So I think that's good. Give both teams a chance to regroup.
I agree.
Talk strategy, maybe change surfaces if they need to.
Yeah, because they do have that opportunity between each round, and with this going to be a totally separate round, the teams would be able to change surfaces if they needed to. So
201 to 134 final score, and Weber wins 3-1. And we will step away here for a few minutes, and they're going to get started in about 10 minutes with the second championship match. So we'll be back in a few minutes, continuing coverage of the NAIA Invitational here on Bowl TV.
Therefore, there's going to be one more championship match. Taking a brief 10-minute break. We'll begin with your
Because they threw it on the ground. Because they dropped it over there. I would have grabbed it with my hand. I put it on top of the line. Because I knew I had to throw it through it. Once I knew that, I knew when all I had to do was hit it See you later, Randy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Did your dad forgive you? Did your dad forgive you after Friday? Watch Hey, come on, let's go. Unless it's this deep, you've never seen it. Focus. Major focus. Mike Rover. The guys do that all. Always been, but then again, losing team got lean trades against us. Who's a losing team got lean trades? I know it is. I know. But they chose it up like, they chose right away, they chose all the strength of that. Run around the building a couple times, come back and shoot. I'm mental. Yeah, I saw that.
Because I end up with half the thing just ends up sitting here anyways.
Amy. Amy. Nice shirt. Wow, very good.
This is the championship match. The winner of this match will be declared 2014 NAIA Invitational Team Champion. We're going to have 10 minutes of practice. This match will have Robert Morris, looking against Weber. Robert Morris, number 2 seed. Weber was the number 1 seed. Weber will have lane choice. They will start practice on the left lane. Your lanes are now going to be coming on for 10 minutes of practice.
Wait, I don't have my kid. You're just biased.
Okay, right here.
No, you meant this way, Lucas. Hey, my life has changed ever since I met Matt.
Really?
I was pregnant.
Yeah.
16 months.
Three jackies like one.
Yeah, no kidding.
16 months working from company now.
Most important thing.
I turned on. That's not what I think at all. Okay.
I said, when it comes to bowling, how many balls do you have to throw down the lane before you get a first down?
Okay, let's switch lanes, please. Switch lanes. Now over. Once again, the NAIA would like to thank the Farm and Food Apparel for their sponsorship of the event.
All right, practice over, and we're getting ready to get started with our women's championship match, the final championship match. We already had one championship match, and it was Weber defeating Robert Morris 3-1, but Robert Morris is undefeated, so now we have a second championship match. I'm Lucas Wiseman from Bowl TV. We've got PBA champion Jeff Carter here with us as we get started with match number 2 for our women's championship. Men from Robert Morris won 3-1 over Midland to take the men's title, I believe for the second consecutive year. And now we're going to see if Robert Morris can pull off the sweep and take the women's title as well as they take on Weber. This is the same pair they just got done bowling on, no re-oil, but they got 10 minutes of practice. Take a 10-minute break and 10 minutes of practice. So, about ready to get started here.
Just watching a little bit during practice, I know that the majority of the Robert Morris girls were all using different balls that they used in the first match. Some shinier surfaces. Looked like the Weber girls were using more of the same. So we'll see how that plays out. That's going to have a huge role into who wins this match, as to who can get the right ball motion, in the front part of the lane, get to go through the pins to where they can strike. A lot of experience out there, a lot of talent, but it's going to be a matter of getting the right ball motion on a pair that looks pretty chopped up, staying out of trouble, making spares, and seeing who can come out on top in this best 3 out of 5 match.
All right, so our women's deciding championship match about to begin between Weber International and Robert Morris, Illinois. And it looks like Robert Morris is going to kick things off. It is a best of 5 match, so first team to win 3 points will win the title. And Robert Morris to kick things off. 2-4-5.
Rachel, get out.
And Coach Lehman's made a little bit of a lineup change. He puts Rachel in the number 1 spot to start the match off. She didn't get to bowl very much in that first match, but again, with that 10 minutes practice, all 8 of the ladies bowled on both sides. See if maybe you find somebody that's got a little bit of a hot hand, right type of ball reaction on one lane or the other, and then go with them and see if you can't pull something out.
And we talked a little bit at the end of that last match about lane choice, and because both teams had a loss, Weber International as the higher seed got to pick, and they chose to start on the left lane.
Kind of surprises me just a little bit, only because we talked earlier about how this left lane seemed to be the lower scoring of the two earlier, but obviously they see something that they like better on the left lane, whether it be the friction zones developing a certain way, or maybe they saw that the Robert Morris girls struggled a little bit more on the right lane, and they just want to simply make them bowl over there possibly 3 times.
Well, in the first match, Robert Morris did not crack 200. The high game was 192, and Weber International had 3 games of 200 or better. So obviously Weber was a little more comfortable in the first match. We'll have to see if that translates here into the second match. It's the same pair, but a little bit of a different feel now with 10 minutes of practice. They had a break.
Plus swings should be a little bit tighter. Everything's on the line now, whereas I think the Robert Morris girls may have been a little bit looser that first match, knowing that no matter what, they were going to get to bowl at least one more match. So,
well, early on, Weber International has the lead. Spare here, they're going to be up by 23 pins after just 2.5 frames. It's a pretty hefty lead after just a couple of frames, but things change quickly in this Baker format.
And the Robert Morris girls didn't strike a lot during that first match, so they can't afford too many open frames. If they fall behind too far behind the Weber girls, it could be over in a hurry. So
yeah,
they need to find something quick.
Not too many doubles out there for Robert Morris in the first match. And they're in danger by more than 30 pins already. Cammy breaks up the 7-10, 5-7-10. Pins are flying everywhere and gets the strike.
That's the big benefit of higher rev rates, is you're going to get those kinds of hits. So Robert Morris opens up spare, open. So they've kind of dug themselves an early hole in game 1. But they're a very, very talented team. They work well together. I mean, if anybody's going to be able to come back and give the Weber girls a run for it, it's definitely the Robert Morris ladies. So
crossover shot leaves a 5-pin. Robert Morris looks a little bit tight here, maybe a little nervous, not sure, but that's not looking good early for them.
I know during the break, Tawny came over and said, "Hi, my name is Tawny, and this is the worst I've ever thrown it in my life." So whether that's a case of nerves or simply just struggling, I mean, let's face it, these girls are human. I mean, every once in a while you go through those stretches where you're just physically not bowling well, and this may be just one of those bad cases where they've got 2 or 3 girls at the same time just simply struggling. So
they're taking on a very talented Weber women's team, and they have got all the momentum right now. Double spare, double to start. And they've got a huge lead over, 40 pins.
a match like this is the true test at every aspect of your bowling ability, whether it be physical game, mental game, knowing your equipment, and lane play knowledge. It's all coming out right now. So Weber's out to a big, fast start. So,
well, Weber had all the momentum from the first match. They lost the first game to Robert Morris, but then took the next 3 to take that 3-1, and now Weber off to a very quick start as Robert Morris finally gets on the board with a strike by Laurie in the 5th.
I think Laurie just told him we're not going to quit, so they better get going.
Let's see if Weber can continue the momentum here. They lead by 54 pins now. Not a bad shot, lead with 4 pin.
You know, I know that this probably isn't as emotional because both these teams. Another shot by good shot by Rachel. But both these teams didn't make it to nationals. They will be competing in Reno, I believe. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
But just watching earlier, as some of the teams got eliminated, unfortunately, especially on the girls' side, only because I am a coach of a girls' team, and you see the tears kind of start to flow. You know, when you throw that last shot of your collegiate career, it's always kind of heart-wrenching to see that. But both these teams will be competing in nationals, so nobody has to worry about this being the last shots of their collegiate careers.
3 in a row for
Katie.
But by the same token, this is a national championship,
Sure.
essentially.
Absolutely.
And definitely want to try to win the NAIA title. It's not officially an NAIA championship event yet, but it will be in a few years, I think. That's why it's called the NAIA Invitational
correct,
instead of
yeah.
the championships. But that's coming. There's some minimum requirements they have to meet in terms of schools that compete and that sort of thing, but they're heading that direction, and I think they'll be there sooner rather than later. But regardless, everybody treats this as a national championship.
Well, this has been a very fun weekend. You know, I'm up here for the weekend with Storm Bowling Products, us being the sponsor, so it kind of gave me an opportunity to come up here, represent Storm, hang out for the weekend, see everybody, watch some good bowling, sit up here, talk to the world traveling famous Lucas Wiseman on the live stream.
I'll give you the world traveling part. I don't know about the famous.
I think you're more famous than what you let on. You definitely have a following, whether you want it or not.
As do you, sir.
You are officially a public figure.
That's right.
But it's been a fun weekend. The staff at Hawthorne Lanes has done a fantastic job all weekend. Some long days, but a lot of great competition.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend and another great NAIA Invitational. A lot of great competition this week, and right now Weber is in the driver's seat. As Cammie's putting some interesting strikes on the board in this first game.
Well, you know, you can see they're able to get a little bit further left than the Robert Morse girls, and to create a little bit more motion, which has definitely given them the advantage. We'll see how that plays out over the next couple games, but right now, all the momentum is in favor of Weber International.
Yeah, it seems at this point to be a big advantage for Weber, as they are going to be probably in the 220s, 230s this game. And if you're Weber, you probably just have to feel like if you can shoot 200 each game, it's probably going to be enough.
Exactly.
Because unfortunately, Robert Morris has not really shown any signs of being able to get anything going. And until they show otherwise, there's no reason to really push if you're Weber. That's made Weber's arm swings a little bit looser, I think.
Yeah, I think you still want to have the mentality. You want to keep the foot on the pedal and still be somewhat aggressive, but not too overly aggressive to where you make uncharacteristic mistakes. They're certainly not being forced into those types of things, but you definitely want to just make sure you keep the ball in play and just execute the best of your ability, which Diana usually does.
Yeah, it definitely loosens things up a little bit when you lead by more than 30 pins after 3 frames and can just kind of, as they're doing their singing down there, just kind of cruise, and that's what Weber's done. They've just kind of cruised. They're having a good time, and they're much looser right now than Robert Morris is. Robert Morris, you can just tell by looking at him, very tight, very confused looking, having conversations down there, trying to regroup.
Well, it boils down to right now they have 2 games to put something together to challenge the Weber International, or this is going to be a quick match.
Weber going to be in the 240s, 245. A great start for Weber in our deciding women's championship match.
That's definitely one thing that you're not going to find in bowling other than the collegiate ranks, other than the high school ranks, is the entertainment of the singing and cheering and chanting that is collegiate bowling. So.
Well, I tweeted a couple of weeks ago that women's college bowling is 1/2 bowling and 1/2 glee club.
Yep.
And whatever helps you strike, hey, go for it. I mean, they spend a lot of time in buses driving to events, and
Believe
you got to
me,
do
I know.
something to just kill the time on those long bus trips. And I'm sure they practice their chants and cheering all the time.
I know we've watched in our van, or in my Yukon, we've watched Pitch Perfect a few times this season. So.
But they have fun, and that's what it's all supposed
Absolutely.
to be about. So. The guys don't do quite as much singing and chanting.
Not at all.
They do
But
a little bit, but
they definitely get fired up though,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of team competition is the intensity that they bring to it. On the women's side, just as intense, but a totally different feel, different type of atmosphere. But I definitely enjoyed, this being my first year as a head coach. I definitely enjoyed it, getting to see how a lot of the teams interact with each other, the friendships that get developed over the course of not only a year but over a 4-year collegiate career. It's very nice to see all the athletes walking around back here on the concourse afterwards from the different teams sitting together in the bleachers or hanging out together, and I'm sure that lifelong friendships have been made through collegiate bowling, and that's just as important as the actual bowling itself. So
couldn't agree more. It's there's a lot of people who make friends. I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to bowl collegiately. This is the school that I went to, South Florida, didn't have college bowling at the time, but I wish that they did, because I see so many people who have lifelong friends and had such great experiences in college bowling that it's really something that if you're a youngster out there, you should probably think about doing.
I actually had an opportunity that I passed up. Now, I don't want to say what year it was because I don't want to date myself, but I had an opportunity to bowl for a school, and I would have bowled with Bobby Jekyll,
Okay.
Billy Montz,
Yeah.
Scott Mann, who's a pretty decent left-handed bowler, and I can't remember who the other one was. But that would have been an interesting
Pretty good
team
start
with us.
there.
Yeah, Bobby and I have known each other forever, and I've known Billy Montz for quite a while. But fate would have brought us together on a collegiate team at Illinois State at one point in time. So that would have been interesting.
Well, we're finally underway here with Game 2, and, well,
Big
struggle
lineup
continues.
shakeup.
Yeah,
Dale's
struggle
moved Sam up to the leadoff spot, probably trying to get a little spark going, maybe get her off to a good start, and maybe try and ride her coattails a little bit. But with a 2-4-8-10, that certainly didn't work.
Yeah, Sam's been a little hot and cold so far.
She has, and I think that this pair being chopped up has hurt her and Tawny a little, probably the most.
Maybe they'll get something going here. There's a
Great shot
strike.
from Katie.
It really doesn't take a whole lot in Baker bowling to get momentum going. It just
does,
takes a
and-
couple of strikes to get something going.
And it could be a lucky break or two. It
Yeah.
could literally be anything that could happen. And then all of a sudden, boom, the opposing team catches maybe a bad break on a great shot, and all the momentum shifts. So anything can happen. You're never truly out of it until the match is totally over.
I think if Robert Morris can just catch a couple of doubles, they could probably get some confidence back.
But like you said, they haven't had many doubles at all so far in the championship round. Struggling with a high game of I think you said 192 in the first best of 5 match, and struggling in the first game here in the second. So
Weber trying to set the tone here early in Game 2. And I almost feel like this is a must-win game for Robert Morris. I think if they don't win this game, they're going to be in real trouble. because they can't afford to go down 2-0 and have to win 3 straight games to win the title.
Well, you put more pressure on yourselves. Your swing gets a little bit tighter, and when this pair is chopped up the way it is and the pattern's broken down, you have very, very little mistake room, and that's not a good combination when you're not throwing it well.
Well, Weber can really set the early tone here if they can put the first double on the board of this game. Weber just looks like they're going to be real tough to beat.
They are. But on the other side, the Robert Morris girls aren't hanging their heads and sitting around, sulking. I mean, they're up there and they're working as hard as they can. So
too much game left to
absolutely
to give up. Oh, look at the 7 fall. See, that's the kind of break that you can get that can kind of shift the mindset a little bit.
And too much pride involved too. I mean, you're fighting as hard as you can for your school, for your team. Also, you got both men's teams standing right behind them. You got the Weber guys sitting right behind the girls' team and the newly crowned NAIA champion men's Robert Morris team standing right here in front of us, supporting the women. So it's kind of cool to see both programs supporting each other.
Kind of like last game, Weber has jumped out to a big lead early on here. They're up
big break
31.
Tripping the 9-pin.
That cuts it down to 21, but still.
It's the first double we've seen at RMU for quite some time. Maybe that's just what they needed to get them going and get some momentum on their side.
Well, Weber hasn't really had to tinker with the lineup a whole bunch here. They have been really solid.
They haven't all weekend. I know that there's been a couple of the ladies that they've shuffled in and out of the lineup, but for the most part, they've been utilizing the same basic lineup pretty much all year.
A little bit of a flat 10 there for Diana in the 5th. I think this is a key shot coming up for Robert Morris. They've got to get some momentum on their side and some confidence in it.
And Sam's pretty fire. If she strikes right here, she's going to come back yelling, screaming, and maybe just what the other girls on the team need. Definitely not that.
Works the opposite way too.
I mean,
you can it's like letting the air out of a balloon right there. Makes a pretty decent shot, but you get in that deep, it can get hard to carry.
It's a little bit different in rev rates, exactly. Yeah. That's one thing that we've talked a little bit about this year, in some circles is, do we look at doing a different pattern for the men and the women? So maybe the women, we develop patterns that use the same type of ratios or same type of overall shapes of patterns, but it kind of forces them to stay a little bit farther right longer to where they can take advantage of their skill set more than when the patterns break down. It forces them into, I don't want to say an unplayable part of the lane, but it definitely is harder for them than it is for a lot of the guys' teams. So it's always an interesting discussion when you start talking about patterns and how they break down, so on and so forth. And you can talk to some of the experts like Nick Hoagland, and he's got some interesting ideas on how he likes to set some things up. I know when we bowled at Woodland at the end of the year, when we bowled on one of his 50-foot patterns, nobody moved farther left than 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. So there's ways of coming up with patterns that make you stay in a part of the lane. And as far as the women's side, maybe that's something we need to look at in the future to kind of take advantage of their skill set more so than what the guys are able to take advantage of.
Well, right now, the advantage is in Weber's corner here, as they are up by 34. A chance to go up 44 with another strike. So it's a 34-pin lead with the spare for Weber.
Right now,
Weber's
to that point where nine spare is a great frame for them. Just leave something that's makeable, pick up your doubles when you can get them, and until Robert Morris can prove that they can, bowl over 200 game, Weber's not being pushed at all.
And Weber, if they can win this game, will be in prime position. Up 2-0, and just one win out of essentially the next 3 games would be enough to take the title. And if Weber wins this game, they will have won 5 straight games against Robert Morris, dating back to the last match.
And that in itself is just tough to do.
Oh, for sure.
There's so much talent out there in both groups that you would never think that you would see that much of a swing in one team's favor. But
even in best-of-5 matches, you don't see that many sweeps. So 3-0. You see it there occasionally, but there's not a lot of them. Even harder in best-of-7.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, we saw Weber get knocked out in the very first round of match play. So.
Strike for Weber in the 8th. And still up by 35 with 2 frames to go. Almost another 7-10 there. Gets the 10 to go, though.
They've got to start to feel like they're a little bit snake bitten right now, to where just absolutely nothing is going right.
And I'm going to guess that in practice they tried some different things at different parts of the lane, and maybe just nothing.
I watched they tried some different balls. I know most of them went to some shinier surfaces, moved around a little bit, doing some different things. Saw a few more strikes than what we had seen in that first match, but nothing really stood out that said, that right there could be a game changer.
Way to spare it up! Way to spare it up!
And it's so hard in Baker team bowling to just make a drastic change as a team. As an individual bowler, if you're playing way left and you're getting crushed, you can move way right, you can do something, but as a team, it's much harder to kind of make gigantic moves like that.
Yeah, with each individual bowler only getting 2 shots at it, even if you make a great adjustment and you strike or you fill your frames or you do something positive, unless that directly translates to the rest of the team, you're doing your part. But it's just the entire team's got to build on something and get that momentum going.
Well, this is going to be the 5th consecutive game that Weber has shot over 200 as well.
I think they've done a great job today in minimizing their mistakes. I think that's been the key. And again, 9 spare being a great frame. Take those doubles when you can get them, but other than that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing a little defense, just trying to hit the pocket.
Weber's going to
take your spares and move on.
Bowl a clean game with nothing less than a 9 count on the
To me, that's perfect
shot.
in a setting like this. I'd take that. I would phone that in every single game and be happy with it.
Bye, Courtney.
And Robert Morris going to be in the 180s.
I think you might see Coach Lehman pull out a few stops here this last game and maybe put Courtney or Leah, in the lineup and give them an opportunity and kind of go for broke, so to speak. Or he very well could stick with his, he's got 4 seniors on the team. He could very well stick with those 4 seniors and ride them all the way and see if they can't utilize their experience to pull some of that out. So
I'm actually surprised that Robert Morris hasn't tried to really bring this thing down to a snail's pace and slow down the pace quite a bit. You see some of that in college bowling. You see the other way, too, where people try to speed it up. But
the only problem with that is Weber does the exact same thing in a lot of cases.
Yes, that is true.
So it would be one thing if now for instance, like the team that I coach, we're very quick. We bowl at a faster pace. If they were to do that to us, then yeah, it's going to affect us a great deal. But when you do it to another team that does the exact same thing, it may not. I've watched a couple of matches with Weber where it was 5 minutes between shots.
Yeah, they can be pretty slow.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily know if that's a strategy you're going to gain a lot, against Weber on.
And Robert Morris really has had no opportunity to speed up the pace either because they can't strike.
Yeah, exactly.
When you can't strike, you can't really speed things up or jump out to a lead early.
It'd be like a basketball team that just can't get out and run because the other team's not giving you the opportunity to get out and get on the fast break. You're not able to take advantage of those types of things. So even if that is a strong suit for you, if you can't do it, you're going to have to figure out another way to get it done.
Yeah, just trying to think of drastic things that Robert Morris can do, because I think that's kind of what it's come down to. They need to do something drastic if they're going to have a chance to win this tournament. I think what we've learned over the last 5 games or so is that this pair specifically favors Weber without a doubt.
Definitely, and no question. And, like we talked about earlier, the longer it goes, the more it's going to continue to favor Weber.
Yeah, it's only going to get better for Weber and not much better for Robert Morris, unfortunately for them. But this is just one of those situations where, and I'm sure, Jeff, that you have won many tournaments where you didn't have a good look and you just grinded it out and you just found a way to get it done. And that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to find a way to get it done.
Well, that's what the great teams do, is they figure out a way to, no matter what's out there, both teams are bowling on the same pair. There is no, one team has a true advantage over the other one. One may have a different skill set than the other team,
right.
Overall in general. But regardless of what's out there, you simply just have to figure out a way to get it done. And if not, then that's what you actually go back and start working on right away, is to figure out what went wrong, what can I do to do something different to make it better. But you can definitely see Rachel throwing that first shot, striking and coming back all fired up. And knowing her, she's definitely a character. She's very, very funny. And what an awesome reaction to loosen her teammates up and maybe getting them going.
Well, that's what they needed. Totally different if Robert Morris gets up there and leaves a 10-pin or whatever. Having that strike changes the demeanor a little bit for them. And I can already see they're making some substitutions here.
They are. Courtney's going to go into the number 2 spot. And they've both made a couple of ball changes. They're definitely going to some weaker equipment, from where they started earlier. Maybe they can move back right a little bit.
But by the same token, Verity comes out for Weber and throws a strike like it's nothing, and says,
Take
we're
that.
not gonna, we're not gonna back down. And
punch, counter punch.
Exactly, and if Weber can toss another strike right here, then Robert Morris, while they've had 2 good frames, has made up no ground. Right. And ring 10, it's not a bad shot.
Well, worst case scenario is it's an interesting, entertaining game. I'd love to see the Robert Morris girls get something going, get a little confidence going, and make this a match.
Robert Morris now up by 10. This might be the first lead they've had in 4 games against Weber. And now they've got the front 3.
So trip 4 from Katie.
It's like somebody turned on a light switch over there. That's what we talk about when we say finding a way to win.
I'm hoping that's what my Rangers find a way to win tomorrow against the Phillies. Big day with opening day starting in Major League Baseball. So
yeah, that's right. It's here already, isn't it?
It is. Can't wait. My favorite holiday.
And I believe that the PBA is on ESPN coming up at the top of the hour, so we should be done by then, I think. So.
Another team match today?
Team match
that's right.
today.
I think I saw the spot for that.
Pulls that one, leaves the baby split.
I don't know about you, but I am a huge fan of the PBA team competition. I love the whole concept of it. I think if I had my choice, there was a few things I would do a little bit differently, but just absolutely love the team concept of it.
Yeah, Baker competition is very exciting. I love when they have the Baker competition. And as a bowler, I wish there were more Baker tournaments to bowl, just at the local level.
We run a big team challenge in Labor Day weekend. That is 2 team qualifying rounds. Then we go into Baker on this year. It'll be on Monday, for the finals. And it's a lot of fun. So it's one of our favorite events of the year that we run.
It's too bad more people don't have an opportunity to bowl Baker competition because it's a lot of fun.
To me, it's true bowling.
I agree. Yeah, it's true team bowling. Yeah, for sure. Well, an open frame for Robert Morris kind of takes a little bit of the momentum away. They still have a little bit of a lead here, though. 9-pin lead for Robert Morris. That's not a situation they've been in very much lately,
not at
so
all.
they at least have kind of gotten over the hump a little bit and at least have found the lead, but they really need Lori to step up here and get the momentum going.
She's made a ball change too, so we'll see if that doesn't kind of help her out a little bit here.
It's a good shot.
Great shot.
Yeah. Just packs it right in there, high flush for the strike.
Lori's bowled really, really well all weekend long. I'm used to seeing Sam in the anchor position, 9 times out of 10 for the RMU girls, but Dale's put Lori in the bottom a lot this weekend. She's performed great. So.
And for the first time, Weber's on their heels a little bit here. First time in 5 games.
Well, we saw in the first best-of-5 match, RMU win the first game and Weber rattle off 3 straight wins. You never know if the same type of thing couldn't happen here. Big shot for Rachel right here.
2-4-8-10. Split. The difference so far, Weber's leaving things they can make. Robert Morris leaving splits out there. Staying clean, as we've said so many times, is so important in college bowling. I mean, if I was the coach of a college team, the first thing I would do is teach my team how to make spares. Because if you shoot 190 every game, you got a real good chance to go very far.
That's about 50% of our practice sessions.
I believe
is spares.
Yeah, and it should be.
Yep. Yeah, my girls actually get really, really tired of me whenever we do our spare drills.
Do we have to shoot 10 pins again?
Exactly.
All right, an opportunity for Weber to get things going on.
And I don't
their
think
side.
there's anybody in women's college bowling you'd rather have up in the spot than Diana. And that's why.
Yep. She's the queen for a reason.
She is.
She is the young face of women's bowling for
She
sure.
is.
She's we've been waiting for that next generation of women bowlers to step up and take it after the Liz Johnson, Kelly Kulig, Shannon O'Keefe, Stephanie Nation era.
Yep.
There's that next group is coming up, and she's the leader of that group.
Yeah, I think for those of you that have watched quite a bit on the live stream this weekend, you've seen the next generation that's coming, not only in the men's and the women's side. And I think the future of the sport's in good hands.
Yes.
So it's a matter of the higher ups, the PBA, the USBC, the BPAA, all the organizations doing whatever's necessary to continue to make the sport grow and thrive for these athletes to be able to have something to look forward to as soon as college is over.
Well, with a spare, Weber is going to have the lead by 4 pins.
It was just a few minutes ago we were talking about all the momentum that RMU had gained by that opening triple, and now we're talking about them being down. So it can turn in a hurry.
And for the first time, Robert Morris actually has had a chance to jump out ahead a little bit with having thrown 5 strikes this game, but they're just not able to pull away here. And Weber keeps making their marks and goes a long way here. And so Weber International is up by 4 pins. Weber with 4 frames to go. Robert Morris with 2. And Robert Morris going to let Weber catch up a little bit here, it looks like. Oh,
Bad count
yeah.
and a tough spare.
5 count on a spare is a lead change, as Robert Morris takes a 1-pin lead by doing nothing.
Yet another momentum shift.
Robert Morris really has slowed down the pace a little bit. I think this is the 3rd consecutive shot that Weber has thrown since Robert Morris threw a shot.
Well, I think Tawny wants to really kind of see where they're at before she steps up in the 9th. Either way, she knows she needs to strike. But this is a pretty important shot right here. If Tawny doesn't strike here, it may be all over.
And another spare for Weber as they keep cleaning up the mess. They leave. Big shot for Robert Morris. That's a split. That's big trouble. 6-7 on the deck.
We may be singing that same old song that if Weber stays clean for the rest of this game, it could be all over.
That may be all they need to do here. Breaks it up there, leaves just the 9. The other thing, Weber's gotten some breaks. They've been able to break up the splits and kind of avoid the trouble.
Well, in my opinion, that comes with free swings.
Yeah.
Free loose swings actually creates some luck, some breaks. That's it's not all luck. It's because you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, being a little bit closer to the pocket helps to break some of that stuff up too. And Weber looking to stay clean through 8 frames. And they don't do it.
I've actually seen her miss several single pins this weekend, whether it's a focus issue or what, but bad time for that.
Well, the only good news for Weber is that if Robert Morris gets one of these, we'll essentially be tied.
Right.
If you're Robert Morris, do you take the pin or do you go for it?
You simply have to take the pin.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
right
agree
now,
with count.
right now it's too close. You would hate to lose the match, by 1 pin, just by simply matching each other the rest of the way out.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You take the stick here and hope that your anchor bowler can get it done.
And Lori's made some pretty good shots the last couple of matches, so you got to have confidence in her that she can strike when she needs to.
She gets the 1. So if Weber spares here, they're going to be tied. The strike here would be pretty huge because you set up Diana for the 10th. And that would be pretty big.
Good shot for hand.
Yep, Cammy with another strike there, and that sets up Diana in the 10th.
If I'm Lori, I would almost rather just sit back and let Diana go throw it, because Diana's got to be thinking throwing this one for the win. Whereas if Lori goes and doesn't strike, it's a little bit different mindset.
Well, we'll see. We're even, so it's going to come down to final frame. Big strike. Now that gives Diana a little bit more to think about here. If Robert Morris strikes out, they shoot 189. If Diana throws this one and then goes 9 spare, Weber shoots 188. So it's
But
very
if Diana
close.
doubles here in the 10th, she
Yep,
locks up
locks
the
them out.
championship.
So let's see what happens here. Not a great shot. Leaves the 6-10. We do have a very high likelihood of a tie in this game.
As Bo Burton would say.
That's right.
I think Bo would break that out in the first frame, that we have the possibility of a tie.
And Bo would say that there's a 92.3% chance that we're going to have a tie. But we will not have a tie if Lori strikes here. We will have another game.
This might be one of the biggest shots Lori's ever thrown, so.
win the game.
Oh,
Misses the head pin to the right and leaves the 1-2-4, which is not exactly the easiest spare to be shooting in this situation.
yeah, that's the other thing is because Diana's going to need spare strike for 179, and Lori's going to need to make this to, to tie.
First things first, let's see if Diana makes a 6-10.
1, 2, go.
Gets them both. If you're Lori, do you wait for Diana to throw her shot, or do you go ahead and shoot it?
I just go ahead and go.
Just get it over with, huh?
Yep, get it done, and then put the pressure on her to strike to make the to create the tie.
It looks like that's what she's going to do. Needs all three of them to guarantee a tie at least. Oh, she gets 2. I'm telling you, that's a very tough spare to shoot in that situation. And now Diana can strike on the fill to win. And if there's one bowler in women's college bowling you want on the lane to throw a strike to win, it's probably Diana Zavialova.
I guarantee you, if she strikes here, you're going to see every member of her team and the men's team up there on the approach in less than 2 seconds.
You're probably right about that.
It's the shot of the tournament right here. You know, as a bowler, this is really all you can ask out of yourself is to have the opportunity to make this shot.
A strike to win the NAIA Invitational. Let's see what happens. Comes up light. Oh, she carries it! And Diana Zavialova comes through with a light hit that carries. And Weber International wins the NAIA women's title.
Unbelievable performance.
Kind of a late hit there that is a heartbreaker for Robert Morris, but found a way to get the job done, and that's all that matters.
But truly a great performance from both teams. They both performed great all weekend long and all season long, you know, to get to this point. But the Weber girls in the end just were way too much. Pulled out the victory.
And a great win for Weber and a great run for Robert Morris as they went undefeated before heading into the championship match and got beat consecutive matches by Weber International. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Jeff, special thanks to you and Storm for your support of this event. And
thank you for having me. We're happy to be involved in collegiate bowling and high school bowling. I know Storm and Road Grip both, we sponsor several collegiate teams, and it's something that we're very proud and happy to do, to be involved in youth bowling in general. So it was my pleasure to be up here and watch this great event all weekend and sit in the booth and get to talk with you for a while. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks. Jeff Carter, PBA champion from Storm Bowling Products. Appreciate you taking the time to sit with us. And thanks to everyone at home for supporting Bowl TV and watching our live coverage today. We very much appreciate it. Please go to bowl.com/livestream to see our upcoming schedule. We've got a live stream from the Open Championships coming up on April 1st. You'll want to tune in for that. So be sure to check out that schedule for upcoming events. Great final match. And that's going to do it here from Brunswick Zone Hawthorne in Vernon Hills, Illinois. I'm Lucas Wiseman for Jeff Carter. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on Bowl TV.